Bonjour, ça va? Comment ça va? Moi, je me sens un peu froid because I came on my bike and it's wet out there. Welcome to the show featuring the front of me and the back of Toby. Oh, he's moving. Things are happening here. They're happening all the time. He's doing some technical stuff, and I don't know what it is, except I look to my left and I see a picture of myself upside down on the laptop. That can't be good. Then again, maybe it's fabulous. All right, what's going on in the Wairarapa, I hear you ask? And so do I. No, I know a bit. But there are a couple of things I'm still a little uncertain about. For example, is the Featherston Community Centre open? If it is, there are things like the Social Bridge Club happening there, belly dance for beginners, Feldenkrais, Move With Ease, the Featherston Senior Citizens Club Cards Group, the Mahjong Players, the Toy Library, the Needlework and Craft Drop-In. And that's just some of it. There's plenty that happens there. It's just that I go to Event Finder at the moment, and I'm not entirely certain of the authenticity of the information I'm receiving, partially because there's a little thing on the Featherston community, stuff that happens at the Featherston Community Centre saying that they're closed down during the COVID business, and I'm thinking, I think they could well be open now, so why don't you give them a ring if you want to find out. Their number is 3088 239. 3088 239. Put 06 in front of that if you're not actually in South Wairarapa. But a great place, the Featherston Community Centre, and they have such a vibrant and varied set of things going on there. And you really want to check it out in case they have an activity that interests you. Now, I mention Event Finder also because it turns out some of the information about Aratoi is a little bit out of date. What happened, obviously, is Aratoi gets exhibitions from all over the show, and some of them have been touring from overseas. And obviously there was a shutdown and stuff wasn't able to get here. It may happen in the future, but there's been a bit of a rejig of their schedule, and I'm hoping to get Susanna on the program 1 week soon so that we can say, well, what exactly is going on there? I know, for example, that the Gone Home Gavin Hipkins and Peter Perrier photo exhibition is on there, so that's good. That's a happening thing. And I do pop in from time to time, apart from the fact that sometimes we just drop in because we need to buy a nice greeting card or whatever, and they've got a great range, or a present, and they've got some fabulous things that you can buy in the foyer there, but also because we like to go and have a look at the art, and there's always something really great happening. Excuse me while I cough. That was me coughing off mic. All right, so keep an eye out and just turn up because it's worth it. The markets are definitely happening. Featherston Weekly Market is happening down there from 8 o'clock on Saturdays. And the one up here, when I say up here, that's a bit Masterton-centric of me, isn't it? If you live in Masterton, or if you happen to be in Masterton, the Wairarapa Farmers Market is on at Solway Showgrounds, Saturday, 9 till 1. Hey, the Tin Hut. The Tin Hut is back up and running, and so they got a big opening happening because, you know, they host local musicians, occasionally have people from other centres coming in, and they do, 30 to 60-minute sets, and singer-songwriter. They tend to feature blues, but they have folk and rock as well. Really great venue. And vigorous, and been going for ages doing that stuff, so that's great. So what's happening now is on their big opening the third Friday in June, which is this Friday, the 19th. The special guest will be Road Noise with Pat McKenna on vocals and guitar, Mike Dew on lead guitar and backup vocals, Patrick Bleakley on bass, and Vic Singe drums, percussion and backup vocals. Pat McKenna, local boy, keeps disappearing, comes back again. He does that. Patrick Bleakley also has been living in Featherston for a long while, a guy with a great background in all sorts of bands. I remember him when he was in Spats with Tony Backhouse and Fane Floors and people. Right, so, yeah. Who else? Oh, Graphia are going to be on as well at the end of the night. Formerly Get Right Away From It All. Recently redefined as Grateful for It All. Oh, that's the acronym of Graphia. Get Right Away From It All. It's redefined as Grateful for It All. We'll play its original songs presented by the four-piece band of Keith Austin on keyboards, Rob Mansell on vocals and guitar, an occasional harmonica, Steve Shivas on lead guitar, Jeremy Weir on drums. So it's a great country pub. It's a great night anyway to just hang and have some good food and stuff with Kate and the team down there, but great music. So it starts at 7:30. I'm talking about this Friday. So for those of you who are listening to me today, that's tonight. For those of you who are listening to me tomorrow, that was last night. Right. I better let you know that the Bohemian Rhapsody Queen tribute show has been cancelled if you were thinking of going to that. But I'm sure you would have, if you've got tickets or something, they would have got in touch with you. I'm going to play a little bit of music now because I'm hanging out for it. And we're going to feature the Luaka Bop label. That's a David Byrne project, but he's got all sorts of interesting artists. I want to read you something off the cover because it's kind of the philosophy of their label. Very small font, so I have to squint a bit. Luaka Bop tries to look at music without prejudice, without saying this belongs in this category and this belongs there. We like to we like to throw things together that are going to be a little confusing for some people, but that's what we like to hear. It's like spinning the ideal radio dial and having interesting stuff coming out of lots of stations. To me, David Byrne that is, it means that you're not totally comfortable with the way things are. And I would say that if anybody's completely comfortable with the way things are, then they're the ones that got a problem. He doesn't have that kind of got a problem accent. It's a little straighter than that. Anyway, Luaka Bop. I was going to choose track 12 because this is a song called Defeito dos Curiosidade by Tom's... Oh, okay. I'm just going to answer the phone because Toby was going to phone in to see if the phone line's working. Good morning. You're on the radio. Can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Oh, great. Look, lovely to have you on the radio with me, Toby, and lovely to know that the phone line's working.
Yeah, indeed it is. Technology.
Yep, good on you. All right, well, thank you. It's been meaningful.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
See you. That's great. The phone line's working. But you think, well, it's supposed to be working, but we had a bit of difficulty with it. And when you think about it, we've had this phone hybrid, I'll turn it off, for about 20 years. It's done very well. I'm pleased it's still doing well. So we were going to have, this is Tom Zay, and it's Defeito dos Curiosidade.
Tá botando dinamite na cabeça do século. Quem é tá botando tanto piolho na cabeça do século? Quem é que tá botando tanto grilo na cabeça do século? Quem é que arranja um travesseiro pra caber? Quem é que arranja um travesseiro pra cabeça do século? Pra cabeça do século.
That was Tom Zay. I think he's Brazilian. Interesting track, eh? I really liked it. And we'll have some others from Luaka Bop a little later on. It's a bit of a music show because quite a number of things are not happening. I did mention that the Bohemian Rhapsody Queen tribute show has been cancelled. The Martinborough Community Choir postponed. They got to be starting again soon, though. It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because I know that we, a while ago, went to level 1 in the sort of COVID restrictions. And there was always the possibility that things would continue to get better and would then eventually drop to no restrictions at all. Or there might be a second wave or something and suddenly we'd be back at level 4. Well, with what happened recently with the 2 cases from overseas and the possibility of further community transmission, I think we've got to be prepared for the possibility that we might either stick on this level for a good while yet or leap up a level. We know how to do it. I know what we're doing here. We'll cope. But it's a bit of a downer, isn't it? It's a bit disappointing. Yeah, on the whole, I've been really pleased with the way the government's handled all this. It's just a pity that whoever was administering the checks on those people perhaps didn't do as well as they should have. Look, I'm not an investigative journalist. I haven't looked into this deeply, so my opinion is no different from your opinion, i.e. uninformed. But nonetheless, I do think that the people who came in from overseas and were quarantined, it would have been useful if they'd been tested straight away. Wouldn't that have been a good idea? And I think that there were intentions. It was supposed to be after 3 days into quarantine that they got tested, and they didn't. So that's a real slip-up. And it's not as if it's enormously expensive. I was reading an article in the New York Times about the massive difference in medical costs in America, in the United States, that is, because basically people can just do what they like, you know. Providers will decide this is what the market can pay for, and they'll just say that's what it costs. And what happened under the COVID restrictions is that the government said, look, you, what do you call them, insurers, you've got to pay for these tests. But there was no set price for the tests. So what a lot of providers did was went, hey, you insurers have got to pay. We're going to make the prices really expensive. And just to give you an idea of the massive disparity, there's a place in Texas where you can get a test for $27. Right? $27. The most typical price for getting a test in America, in the States, is $100. There are a few places. There's one place in Texas, I think, that's charging, wait for it, $186,000. Just charging the insurers that because they can. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I got it off the New York Times. Weird times that we live in, but luckily we don't live in a weird country, do we? We got to be grateful for being where we are. There are some slip-ups that have happened that are regrettable because it's not good for the health of our nation nor our economy if we suddenly have to backtrack. Let's hope that everybody keeps a good eye on those possible community transmissions and that the news is good. All right, what about another Tom Zay? No, not Tom Zay, because we've had him, and this is Luaka Bob, and they are eclectic. I think I've got Heart of Glass here because I'm wondering if it's the Blondie hit Heart of Glass that's been reinterpreted by a band called Nouvelle Vague. We'll find out.
Once I had a love and it was a gas. Soon turned out her heart of glass. Seemed like the real thing, only to find much mistrust, love gone behind. Once I had a love and it was divine. Soon found out I was losing my mind. Seemed like the real thing, but I was so blind. Much mistrust, love gone behind. In between, what I found is pleasing and I'm feeling fine. Love is so confusing, there's no peace of mind. If I fear I'm losing you, is just no good. You're teasing like you do.
So, yep, it was the Blondie track. Not by originally by Blondie, I'm saying, but this was Harglass Nouvelle Vague. Now, a bit light on information this morning, you think? Yes, I admit it. Next week, I'm hoping to have Alex from B Collective come and have a chat with me. When I say come and have a chat, I suspect he might be in Wellington and we might have to have a video call in. So I'll hopefully be able to do that. Those of you who are watching on the telly will notice the cameras are going all over the shop at the moment. At the moment, they're checking out a person who doesn't exist, my imaginary friend on the other side of the studio. All right, let's have Valentin by Valentin. Where is it? Susanna Bakker.
No, Valentín, con palo no vale, Valentín. 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 Vengo del quinto mondongo Congo a sacarte la no, Valentín, a sacarte la no, Valentín, a sacarte la no. Yo vengo del quinto mondongo Congo a sacarte la no, Valentín, a sacarte la no, Valentín, a sacarte la no. Llegó el flojo de Ramón
a gozar
a la casa de Porfirio. Llegó el flojo de Ramón
a gozar
a la casa de Porfirio. Abelardito está loco y lo viene a visitar. Abelardito está loco y lo viene a visitar. Cierre esa puerta, caramba, ese loco. Cierre esa puerta. Cierre esa puerta, caramba, ese loco. Cierre esa puerta. No, Valentín, con palo no vale, Valentín. 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 esa puerta, caramba, ese loco. Cierre esa puerta. Cierre esa puerta, caramba, ese loco. Cierre esa puerta. No, Valentín, con palo no vale, Valentín. 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 Así no vale, Valentín. Con palo no vale, Valentín. Así no vale, Valentín. Con palo no vale, Valentín. Así no vale, Valentín. Con palo no vale, Valentín. No vale, Valentín. No vale, no vale, no vale, no vale, no vale. No, 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 no. Así no vale, Valentín. Así no vale, Valentín.
That was Susanna Bakker, and it's Valentine, Michael, not Valentin. All right, I'm going to play one more track and then I'm going to say goodbye, go and go have a cup of coffee. I hope that you've got plenty to do this weekend. I note with all the rain that some of the things I've got planned won't happen. I was going to dig a few post holes to start building a fence. Although rain does soften the ground, so it might be easier to dig. So maybe I'll do that. Get some wet weather gear on, get out there and get my hands dirty. Why not? Right. The writing on this CD is so tiny that I choose my tracks based on which ones I can actually see. So, on that basis, we're going to listen to Matteo Local with Samba Sem Nenhum Problema.
Salve o sol e o futebol, salve o mar e o carnaval, mas salve a cor e a beleza carioca da gema, samba sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum problema. Redentor que no abraço nos abençoou, confirmação em São Sebastião, a nossa proteção. Emanjá trouxe o mar e o sol se instalou. Quem viu Zico jogar no Maraca vai sambar em fevereiro. Tem carnaval, tem carnaval. Em fevereiro, tem carnaval. Na Mangueira, tradição sempre será cultural. Salve o sol e o futebol, salve o mar e o carnaval, mas salve a cor e a beleza carioca da gema, samba sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum, sem nenhum, sem nenhum, sem nenhum, sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum problema, sem nenhum, sem nenhum, sem nenhum, sem nenhum, sem nenhum problema. Carioca,
Samba sem nenhum problema. What's his name? Matthew Local. Alright, that's it from me. It's time to go. Don't hang around saying goodbye for ages, Michael. Just stop. Done.